Do you sit for most of the day, or do you have low back pain? Chances are you've got tight hamstrings. I have 3 exercises for you to help loosen them up. I'm Anne, a holistic practitioner and physical therapist. These exercises are designed to be safe for osteopenia and osteoporosis, but please check with your physician before starting with any new exercise program. All right, let's get started. Our first hamstring exercise can be done in standing. This is great if you've been sitting and you just want to break up your sitting with a little bit of a hamstring stretch. It's fast and easy to do it this way. So in standing, we're going to stand with the feet about hip distance apart. And then you're going to give yourself a little hinge at the hip. So remember, the hinge at the hip is spine all in one straight line. So you're not bending forward like this. You're keeping spine in line, bending slightly at the hips. Shift the weight to one side and then extend the other leg out with that foot flexed or the toes pointing toward the ceiling. Get a little bit deeper. If you don't feel a stretch here, then just increase that hinge at the hip or bend the knee a little bit more, and you should feel a beautiful stretch in the back here. And I like to pump the ankle up and down about 10 times, and you'll feel that even down into your calf. And after the 10 repetitions, you can just hold it here in this position and remain here for about 30 seconds to get a really nice stretch behind here. You will also feel this in the supporting leg. So this doubles as a strength and length type exercise. And don't forget to do the other side. So same thing on the other side. We're going to hinge at the hips, bend that supporting leg, flex the foot up towards the ceiling, do your ankle pump for 10 times, and then flex the foot and hold it here. None of these should cause pain. If you're getting pain down the back of the leg, please stop the exercise and have that further assessed. Again, a great hamstring stretch to easily incorporate during the day if you're sitting for long periods of time. The next position for stretching hamstrings is in sitting. So very easy to incorporate during your day if you're sitting all day. You can see in this posture how our hamstrings can get tight where the knees are bent for most of the day because the hamstrings attach below the knee here. It can also pull us into more spinal flexion or low back flexion or bending, and that can make us more vulnerable to compression fractures in the front of the spine. So it's very important that we are able to lengthen out the hamstrings so they don't pull our pelvis under. So same concept here, we'll just be hinging forward at the hips. See how my back is pretty flat here? There's maybe a tiny little arch in it. We want to keep that straight as we're hinging forward, and then extend one leg out. You can support yourself with one hand on the top of that thigh and maintaining this posture. Remember the head too. Watch that the head isn't coming forward. Hold that head back as if you are pulling it back to an imaginary wall so that head is in line with the rest of the spine. And then you'll do your ankle pumps here, your 10 times on each side, holding it at the top with the foot flexed. You should feel a really nice stretch all the way down the back of the leg, including some of the calf muscle if that's tight too. And relax and remember to repeat that on the other side. For our last exercise, we'll be using a yoga strap or a bathrobe tie or even a necktie to be stretching out our hamstrings while we're lying on our back. So let's come down to the floor, come onto your side, and then roll onto your back. Feet are about hip distance apart, knees are bent. And before we take hold of the strap, I want you to, again, find a neutral spine position, a neutral low back position. Because sometimes what I see people doing is when they're stretching their hamstrings, they're going into a lot of flexion in the low back, and we don't want that. We want to stay in somewhat of a neutral position. So we find this neutral by giving a little arch to our low back and then bringing the low back into the floor, and your neutral position is somewhere in between those two extremes where it feels the most comfortable. So we want to be aware that we are keeping our low back in a neutral position when we're stretching our hamstrings. All right, so take your tie, put it underneath the arch of the foot, and just hold on to the tie so it's comfortable. It doesn't matter if your arms are completely straight or down to the floor, just a comfortable position here. Again, watch where the low back is going. If it's already too far compressed, just give it a little bit of space, a tiny little bit of space underneath. From here, we can bring the leg up until you feel a little bit of a stretch. Then we'll do the same bending and flexing, or flexing and pointing of the foot. We can do that in this position. I also like to bend and extend the knee. So I like to bend and extend the foot flexed. So bend the knee, then straighten the knee. And you can do this about 10 times as well. So lots of different things we can do in this position to start stretching out the hamstrings. And at the end of 10 reps, then I might hold it for about 30 seconds to give my hamstrings a good stretch. And you may find that you can go a little bit further than in the very beginning. All right, so it's bending and stretching first, and then with a hold at the end, you should start to see some progress there. I hope you enjoyed those hamstring stretches today to help loosen up the back of your legs and get your spine in a better alignment. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you'll be alerted when my new videos come out. Until next time.